Well, Coach, first week of classes. What's the energy like in the locker room in preparation up to season opening in this weekend?
Team's in good spirits. We scrimmaged at Michigan Tech on Saturday. It went really well. I think the anxiousness of season starting and being here is very real. But ultimately, like you kind of touched on, they are student athletes, and so we took Sunday off so they could walk around and see where all their classes are for the freshmen and just start to get acclimated, because balancing the stresses of school and your sport are very important, and having kind of a healthy relationship with the two is really important. And so we do our best to prioritize academics for them, but ultimately I think they're really excited to open our season at home on Thursday and kind of get the season going.
You touched briefly on scrimmages with Tech and then the green and gold scrimmage you had. What did you assess about those two previews of game speed?
Yeah. It's so fascinating. This time of year when you're first starting, it's amazing how quickly film becomes obsolete because things are changing at lightning speed, right? So we played that match on Mackinac Island, which feels like a month ago, right? But it was just over a week ago. And I told the team, I was like, I will never look at that film again. Right? And then you had that green and gold scrimmage, which was great, and we learned a lot, and we got a lot of great information from it. But that film is now obsolete because we have the film from the Tech scrimmage where we're changing at lightning speed and players are evolving and getting better. And so it's just trying to keep up with the film and making sure they're watching it right away so that they can learn from it. And then because what coaches do is we watch that film, we write the next practice based on what we saw in that film, and then you hope that they're getting better, right? And then you take the film from the next day and the next day and the next day. But ultimately what I learned from it, I learned that we're capable of being really good. And we're going to need some freshmen to step up and get the job done. I think we have a couple that can do that, and if we can kind of get it together, I think we could be a really solid team.
Big weekend this weekend. Obviously the UP Open. Talk to me about the team preparation, how you go about prepping for a tournament like this, especially Friday with two big opponents in the same day. Just give me the rundown on what you look forward to in preparation for this weekend.
Yeah, this is always the most interesting week of the season just because nobody has film on anybody, right? So nobody knows who our freshmen are, right? Maybe they watch this and say, he's talking about freshmen, but who are the ones that are going to be impactful? And you can maybe look at the class and what they've done in their high school careers and say, maybe this person. But ultimately, nobody really knows. And I think that's a really good thing, We play Crookston on Thursday night, and we've played them I think at least 2 or 3 of the last 4 years, and so we know a little bit about their program, but like you said, Friday is going to be a big test. Hillsdale, who I believe was in the Sweet 16 last year, and then you have Concordia, who is the national runner-up. Big weekend, big day, but ultimately there's just another test to see where we're at, a measuring stick. Last year when I scheduled our opponents, I scheduled to win. It's kind of a fluff schedule, and we went 7-1. We should have gone 8-0. This year is the opposite. We're playing all tough opponents, and so and meaningful opponents, right? Hillsdale and Northwood are both in our region. Those matches matter for the NCAA tournament. But we did that by design with the group we have and what they're capable of. I think we have a really good shot, and if you're going to play teams like that, you want to play them at home. And so we get to play them at home in front of our crowd, and we're hopeful that it's going to be full and loud and exciting like it always is. And who knows? I don't know. I'm excited about those opponents. I don't want to play teams that you roll the balls out and hope you win because you should on paper. I want to play opponents that are going to challenge us and make us better.
Do you think the fact that these are tougher opponents on paper is an advantage to this team, especially with the mentality going in? Yeah.
There's no, you can't fake it, right? You got to be ready to go. You have to do the preparation to be ready for that first serve, because if you go behind early in any match against an opponent like those two that I mentioned, and even I would throw Northwood in that mix as well, you're going to have a really tough time fighting back. And so a lot of what our gym has been about the last couple of days has been starting on time, being ready to go at the beginning, and then finishing matches, right? That was one thing in the green and gold that was evident, was we don't finish. We'll get to 22, 23, 24, but that 25 hump is really hard to get to, and you just cannot give oxygen to other teams late in sets, and so we have to learn how to finish, and so we're designing drills with that in mind. But I think they have a great mentality, and we talk a lot about, when you're a part of this program, you're competing and preparing to win championships, right? If you're competing and preparing to win championships, you want to play teams that have done that. And there's no better barometer than Concordia St. Paul, who has won, I don't know, 7 or 8 national championships. They were in the national championship last year. They're going to push us to the brink, and we're looking forward to that challenge.